feel tonight? You got something to say? All right.
Mics are hot. I was listening to Best of LL today, so I'm kind of hyped.
We are on. I'd like to welcome everybody tonight to our second podcast for TRT Podcast. That's Trogdon, Townsend, and Ripley podcast.
You said it out of order, bro. Say it in order.
All right, so
Trogdon.
Townsend, Ripley, Trogdon.
Trogdon, Ripley, Townsend.
All right, Trogdon, Ripley, Townsend podcast. Welcome tonight for our second try at this podcast. Again, as we said in our first podcast, we decided to get together as a group of football coaches during this strange situation, this COVID-19 situation where we're not playing, and we felt that we need to get our voices out there and let people know what high school football is really about. First of all, last week was a real successful week, coaches. We had over 500 people participate in the podcast.
Yes, sir.
We had people watching live, people texting us, people sending messages, but we had over 500 people, so that's a great job. What a start. Again, we are on Twitter. The Twitter is TRT Podcast 2020, and that's all you have to do is to go on the Twitter page. So tonight, we're going to give out a prize. We're going to give out a free BTC hat tonight to the winner and a $25 gift card to DePaula's tonight for the person who can guess the approximate weight of all three of us together. High school football coaches are usually big guys, strong and fit, so you need to add his weight, my weight, his weight together, come up with a number. You need to text that to us, and the closest number will get that prize tonight. Coaches, how you guys feeling tonight?
I'm good, man.
I'm good. I'm glad to be here again.
Glad to be here. Glad to talk about football?
Glad to talk about football. First, before we start, I want to give a shout-out to my youngest daughter, Kara. Her birthday is today. She turned 7.
7 years old.
7 years old, second grade, bro.
Shout out to my son who turned 22. He's a senior at North Texas University. So he'll be graduating come spring 21.
Congratulations, bro.
Appreciate it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We also want to thank our sponsors. Our sponsors, again, are always Under Armour, always stepping in, helping the Baltimore Touchdown Club. The Arena Club, great fitness facility up in Hartford County. One of our high school football coaches, the owner, they do a great job of always sponsoring our event. So check out the Arena Club. And also Coach Hosler, Rich Hosler, former coach at Mount St. Joe at Northern High School now. He's with Exit Premier Realtor. He's our #1 realtor for the Baltimore Touchdown Club. So if you need a realtor, that's the guy you want to call. He'll sell your house quickly or find you a house, but he's a great guy. Again, we want to talk about COVID-19, coaches. We don't want to tie up the air like we did last week of 40 minutes of this discussion, but let's get down and dirty and talk a little bit about it. Unfortunately, is Maryland playing football right now?
Nah.
Coach, we playing?
Of course not.
Of course not. So Coach Trogdon was so concerned last week about COVID-19, I decided I'm going to wear a mask at least for 5 minutes tonight so that, so that everybody knows that I'm so
social
concerned.
distancing, so I'm good. I'm 6 feet apart from him, so
Coach,
good on that.
Coach Trogdon was really upset about that. But again, what I wanted to talk about
Somebody commented on the Facebook Live already, Coach.
What did they say? Got the first person that came in. All right, let's get back to the topic. So again, we talk about COVID-19, gentlemen. Again, last week you guys shot me down and were a little upset that I said it was all about politics. And I think it's about politics. I saw a tweet today, and I'll cover that in a little bit more. What do you guys think? Do you think politics is involved?
I'm all in agreement. It's all about politics. Like when you show those numbers. And I got it off of Football Scoop a couple of days ago and posted it on my page, so I'm always in agreement with the politic part.
We'll know if it's truly a politic issue if come December we're not talking about COVID anymore.
What, elections in November?
When that's what I'm saying. When the politicians and the state legislators and the lawmakers aren't talking COVID anymore, that's when we know
they'll let it at least spill over into 2021.
I don't know, bro. It's over. They elected officials now. Like, they're using it to get elected.
Using it to get elected. Again, we're talking about Republican governor states. I'm going to read
Maryland
that for you.
One of them.
Florida, Alabama, Arkansas, Tennessee. Can you put that up for me? Oklahoma, Texas, West Virginia, Indiana, Iowa, Ohio, Nebraska, Utah, Arizona, Wyoming, Idaho, North Dakota and South Dakota, New Hampshire, Mass, Vermont governors that are playing. Now, let me tell you who the Democrats are that are playing. We only have 10. We only have 10 Democratic states with governors. Maine, Rhode Island, Montana, Pennsylvania and Delaware just finally got it overturned so they can play football.
Yeah, Pennsylvania starts Friday.
Correct. So again, Democratic states are not playing football.
You really think it's a correlation between COVID-19 and politics?
Absolutely.
You're saying that's going to be on September 26th down in Annapolis. Keith, what kind of goal are we trying to achieve here? Are we going to try to force them to let us play this fall, or just try to bring it home and say we'll play in the spring?
The goal is to hear that a 5-game season in late spring isn't going to help these football should be allowed to be played. But that's a good point. We'll check around and see if there's something.
Real quick, do you think with trying to push to have football in fall, it has something basically to do with we have to be back in school, don't you think?
So that's kind of I'm seeing that where I think it was Anne Arundel County has pushed to start school and bring it back, and some of these teachers have declined to come back. Well, you know what? If the teachers don't want to come back and these kids want to have football, then they can come play football, and the teachers can stay home on their laptops doing their Zoom classes.
And that's happening across the country.
I don't think it's to stop these kids from playing. If these teachers don't want to teach, we could put a plastic bubble around them and they could teach, but they just don't want to teach. They got spoiled by staying home.
I agree with that. Teams come down with the virus, 2 or 3 people, and they have to quarantine. Then they just have to shuffle the games, or that team will not play that Friday. And there has to be guidelines made. So again, our direction.
Yeah, Scott, there's things that you can do. We're doing them in our business right now. We had a volleyball coach come and say, "Can we use your outside fields to run volleyball for our kids?" We got a kid before their parent leaves. If they're dropping them off, they're taking their temperature. If the kid has a high temperature, he don't get out of the car. And you're seeing temperature checks are a way to monitor and make sure that these kids aren't coming and they're running fevers and they have this virus and they're contagious. There's things that you can do to really try to have safety guidelines. I've heard people talking about bringing the ball in and wiping it down with alcohol wipes. There's so many different things that we could do, but we're not even given a chance.
Right.
Give us a chance to try to provide a safe environment to bring these kids back to play is what we need to do. Just have a chance.
So again, we're looking at September 26th in Annapolis at 2 p.m. Governor Ehrlich is going to lead the charge for all high school football coaches and football players, so we want to get a lot of people down there. I know the coaches associations, we're going to send out emails. We're going to try to get as many people down there, and the news, and try to.
And Coach Doug Duvall, I talked to him this evening, and he said he'd be happy to be a guest speaker at that as well.
Awesome. We're Touchdown Club and the Maryland Football Coaches Association behind this, so that's a great idea. Coach, let's jump a little bit different off topic here. So one of our phases each week, we talk about new coaches. Congratulations on your job at Edgewood. Fill us in on how that transpired and how special it is to you to coach at your school.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I graduated from Edgewood in 1983, and for you guys that are old enough to know, the fall of '82, we were 10-0, and we were at that time they bumped us up to an A school. That's when they did A, B, C, and we were always a B school. We got moved up to an A, and we went 10-0. And South River, who was 9-1, went to the playoffs. I mean, it crushed us. The very next, there was all this media press on it. Well, the next year that's when they took the region winner. The next year they took the top 2 teams from each region. A year later, they took the top 4 teams from each region. Now I think they take everybody from each region for the playoffs. I mean, you see the times have changed, so it is special to go back. It was my first coaching job in 1989 when I graduated from Salisbury. There's some really great kids down there. I mean, we had a lot of momentum back in the spring. We had about 70 kids in the weight room, getting after it. A lot of talent there, just a lot of great kids. So I'm really, really thrilled to be back, very blessed to be back, and we'll be on the field with these kids.
So, Coach, you talk about being back. What are you doing right now that we aren't getting together and stuff? So fill us in for some of them young coaches out there that are still puzzled about how to navigate this.
I'm sorry, say that. I lost you.
There's a lot of young coaches out there in the community right now that are struggling navigating practices, Zoom meetings, and all that with their players. How are you navigating this right now?
So we were given the go ahead to do the conditioning, and we did. I mean, there's a lot of hoops that you had to jump through, and I had ice bath, AED machine, everything you can imagine at these workouts, and we had a couple weeks of momentum, and then they shut that down as well. But that was really great. But we were meeting with the guys on Zoom. I mean, you really find out your senior leadership. I'm getting videos and texts from guys that are out on the field, and there's some of the kids up here in Harford County that, there was 8 schools. The kids themselves organized a pickup like 7-on-7 tournament over at Aberdeen High School. Apparently Aberdeen doesn't lock their gates, but kids are finding a way, to get it done. And I think I'm impressed with the leadership. But it's very difficult. Just gotta hope these kids are, staying off the streets and staying out of trouble. But for the most part, the community, you got to communicate with them. And if you can get together with them, it's not so much about working out. We're having the conditioning. We would work out for about 45 minutes, but then we'd sit down and just spread out and we would talk. I mean, these kids just need the fellowship with each other. They need the fellowship with us coaches. That's critical for these guys.
Coach, you got any questions?
Yeah, Keith, just lighten the mood a little bit. If it wasn't no such thing as COVID and we were going into week 2, would you be 1-0 right now?
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Yeah, they're going to be good. Yeah, we all got ego.
I told my guys I wasn't worried about winning football games. I was worried about how many guys are going to have eligible.
That's
the
winning
question
football
right games,
there,
we have talent there. I said it's a matter of who's going to be playing, who's going to be eligible. So we got to set a standard of discipline in the classroom,
there you go.
which these kids are buying into.
Exactly.
There you go.
But no, I'm excited. We got a lot of talent down there.
Sound like you're on the right track.
Any questions, Elwood?
With that, I lost you.
No, we were just sitting here looking at each other, saying if we had any other questions for you. Coach, again, I shouted out earlier for the Arena Club for you as a sponsor of our Coach Association. We appreciate everything you're doing. We will get behind you and Coach and Governor Ehrlich to put it out there so that kids get out there. And it's important that the parents and the kids get out there and try to send a message that we need football to return. So again, Keith, we appreciate it.
Yeah, it's going to be really important for us to have a
big turnout.
And everybody wear a mask,
Mm-hmm.
but everybody be there. I mean, we need kids, we need the parents, we need coaches out there. I mean, we're expecting every news station to be covering this thing. I mean, Ehrlich, he's got a little bit of pull of bringing in the news stations.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to be a great event. And you guys look, just Google high school football rallies across the country. Several states have done this, and it's helped.
Okay.
So, I'm excited. I wish we could do it this Saturday, but the timing of it gives us a little more time planned for the following Saturday.
Right.
But if we show up in masses, our voice is going to be heard, and that's what we got to do.
Almost every state that had one of those big rallies, they overturned. Am I right?
You mean they did a reversal and
Yeah,
starting
they
back,
did a
right?
reversal. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. The parents. Really
Michigan was one of them.
Right. All right, Keith.
So Keith, at the end of our show, we always do an X's and O segment where we do a quick clinic of a player of the day. So you got to come in and give us a little clinic, man.
Keith's going to give us old school Towson football. Did we just lose him?
We lost him.
Keith, you there?
And
We
he's
lost
gone.
Keith, and Keith is gone. His phone shut off. Again,
Shout out to Edgewood.
Yep, shout out to
Big
Edgewood.
Shout out to the Rams.
To the Rams. All right, moving right along here. Gentlemen, we've already been at this for at least 25 minutes. Let's talk about a little bit about the NFL and college football this weekend. So what do you guys think?
My Saints won, so I'm pumped.
You're Saints.
So yeah, I'm a Saints fanatic, and they kind of give off different vibes each week. So it was exciting to see them guys come out and play football. They finally got Alvin Kamara signed, and we got to roll, and we beat a tough Tampa Bay defense. So it's going to be exciting to watch the Saints play this year for me.
Trog, what about you?
Lamar Jackson is the king. That's all I have to say. Oh, and
Hey, he got sacked a few times. I think they on to him, baby.
Okay, 32-point round.
They played the Browns, though.
Browns got one of the best front sevens in the league.
And they horrible offensively.
I don't care. They couldn't.
You
They
got
couldn't stop them 32 points.
Baker Mayfield as your starting quarterback, and you can't get the ball to Beckham and Landry and Ojukwu.
But you're talking about they went against the best defense in the league.
Oh, man, raisins.
All right, so moving right along. Let's talk about some college. So I had the opportunity. I sat down and watched the Clemson versus a Wake Forest game.
You got Brian Breezy got the
Yeah,
game, got the
Maryland
play
guy,
number 11.
Brian Breezy from
Clemson is
from
a machine,
Damascus.
bro.
Yeah, Clemson looks good as usual.
It's a machine.
Want to shout out to, again, we talk about local guys in Maryland. Leo Kelly, quarterback at Wake Forest. He was there. Yeah, number 17. He's
Paul's
on the
on.
roster.
St. Paul's, okay.
Yep,
And then you
I
had
saw-
Marlo Wax up there in
Yep.
Syracuse with
Yep.
a few tackles in that game.
Exactly. So again, Maryland kids are making an impact. You know, Leo didn't get on the field, but he's a backup quarterback there. He's a great kid, got a great arm, can throw the ball. You know, he does
He's
a great
only
job.
Freshman, he got time.
Yep, he got plenty of time. He
Yeah.
has plenty of time. So, any other college games you guys want to cover, or we good?
What you talking about for next week?
No, or next week, or
Oh, well, I watched a little bit of Oklahoma game. Oklahoma, their offense is just on fire, bro. Week 1, I think they were like something like 65, 70% passing completions. I mean, they went against, what you call it, a mid-major school, but still, like, just to be that efficient, it's fun to watch.
Florida State looked like Florida Tech out there this week.
you know, and then of course Notre Dame won again this week.
Oh,
You know,
God.
right?
Notre
I know.
Dame, bro.
So Notre Dame is out there
They
as
got a
usual.
Baltimore product up there in Notre Dame.
Shame on them.
I want to say the quarterback or receiver or something. He's from Baltimore.
Notre Dame is the Cowboys of college, bro.
So this coming weekend, we got 22 games on slate this weekend for college football. So everybody should be out there taking a look at that. And then the following week, the SEC starts. So that's going to be big time. This week's all ACC.
I got
stuff.
a sleeper pick upset for SEC. I got Mississippi State routing LSU.
Mississippi State routing LSU. You heard it here? I don't think so.
LSU got a
Mike Leach.
Baltimore guy from St. Francis,
Leach,
Jordan
man.
Tolles. He's
Mike
looking
Leach.
to play
Jordan
in
Tolles,
the
yep.
secondary.
Yeah, he in that secondary. He gonna get leached by that air raid.
All right, moving right along. Okay, so we covered a little bit of college, a little bit of pros. Let's talk about high school stuff right now again. So again, this would be week number 2.
Week number 2.
Week number 2. So gonna throw a couple things out. Big game would have been played this week. Dunbar versus Reginald Lewis.
I got the Falcons going into to Dunbar and upsetting them with my guy Dominic Howard
No.
down there.
Reginald Lewis, a.k.a. Northern High School. That's my alma mater. Graduated in 92. Shout out to all the coaches down there. They're doing a great job. They're one of the most competitive teams in the Baltimore League, but they not in the class of the Dunbar right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Dunbar.
Shout out to
Coach Smith.
I'm always going on the upset,
Co-
baby.
Coach-
I always go with the upset.
Right.
I don't care.
Yeah,
It's like the Ravens. They could be playing Lake Clifton. I'm going to pick Lake Clifton.
Right.
So.
It's maybe because you coached at Reginald Lewis at one time. But again, let's get back to Dunbar. So Coach Smith's doing a great job down there. Again, you know, he's got kids playing for him. It's the winning attitude.
That's
Those
a
kids-
machine down there.
Right. The kids show up. They understand the history of Dunbar football. They understand how to play. You know, they understand how to give it their all and understand the Dunbar winning. So again, Coach Smith, you know, good luck. if
Let's
you
stay
play.
on Dunbar for a minute.
Okay, go ahead.
Is it a secret sauce down there?
I mean, well,
Like Dunbar is Dunbar, bro. Like,
they're one of the programs in Baltimore City that's going to get all of the kids. I mean, when you get all of the studs, I mean, Coach Smith, he does do a really good job. He's a what is the word I'm looking for? He grooms men. He grooms the coaches that's under him. He kind of keeps the program in line. Well, he does keep the program in line since Coach Mitchell's.
Ben Eaton, Coach
Ben
Eaton.
Eaton's passing years ago, and he's basically kept the Mercedes-Benz running. But you know, you get a lot of kids in that program that they want to go to Dunbar because of the products that they put out over the years. So they're always going to be a top program in the city. You can't never take that away from them.
Can a coach go in there and mess things up? So that's what I'm saying. Is it a skill set? Like, it has to be a skill set to keep that thing going. Like I played against Bob Wade when I was in high school. Then Pompey came in, and then there was Sam Mitchell, Stan Mitchell. Then Coach Eaton. Now we got Coach Smith. It got to be a skill set to keep that thing running, man. Like, you know.
I mean, it's over the course of the years, whoever coaches the program, you're always going to be handed the keys to the Bentley and say don't crash it, and you hopefully they don't crash it. And you know, Lawrence has done a really good job with not crashing it. He's 6 or 7 state championships under his belt, and you know, Coach Eaton, he had the same winning tradition. Coach Pomp, he had the same winning tradition. Of course, Pomp and Stan, I don't think they were a part of the MPSAA. I know Pomp wasn't. He was part of the the MSAs back in the day, but it's a program that's built on tradition and history. They've put out many products over the course of the years that played in the NFL. You got Tavon Austin with the 49ers. You have several guys that went to major Division I schools. So it's kind of hard for anybody. You have to be kind of a blind man to go in there and mess Dunbar's
But there's been other
program
traditional program powerhouses that's not in the class of Dunbar and their sustainability, bro. That's what I'm asking. Like,
Well, it's hard to mess it up, and they're always going to be the top program when the kids just want to go there. When the coaches live and breathe and sleep football, when the administration is the backing them. So they have all those different intangibles for that program to be successful. And it's hard for programs to be truly successful when the administration isn't backing it. And I'm quite sure you and Coach Reggie at Milford could attest to that. When you get an administrator that comes in and does the things to support the program and make it move to the next level, you have no choice but to be successful. And I think that's where Dunbar is. They've had that administration. They had great ADs. Coach Dana Johnson, who went to Western and went to Tennessee and played for Coach Summit. She has that winning tradition, so it's going to stay there, and it's not going to go far.
So let's piggyback on that. All right, so another big game this weekend would have been Milford Mill versus Eastern
I'm
Tech.
taking Coach Bill over the Millers in an upset.
shout out to Eastern Tech, man. They always give us a good fight, man. They run
Coach
that,
Bill
they
checking
run
in on the
traditional
Facebook Live, too.
wing T, man. Traditional. So
Wing T.
you can bring out any defense you want. They're going to slow that thing down. They go to grind it into the dirt. And if you turn the ball over, you're going to be in a long night. So, but of course, I'm biased.
So you going with Milford Mill?
Absolutely.
All right, so we have one Eastern Tech and
Yeah,
one
Eastern
Milford
Tech in
Mill.
the upset 14-12. late touchdown
And I'm going to go with
on the count of crisscross.
I'm gonna go with
That thing pops, don't
I'm
it?
gonna go Milford Mill 28, Eastern Tech 26.
Hey, man, last
Only
year-
because Reggie could take me.
Last year
Reggie
we
could
averaged
take
42
me.
points a game, man. So you
42 points a game. That was last year. We didn't have COVID last year either.
Yeah, we didn't have
So,
COVID.
so
last
again,
year.
we got Milford Mill, and one Eastern
Hey,
Tech.
that Milford Mill product is a machine too. I tell you.
You guys talk about Lawrence being a good coach. What about Coach White? Coach White is one of the best.
Big fella.
Never heard of
Yeah,
him.
Coach White won the Big 33 game for Maryland, Team Maryland. He's always at our meetings, always supportive. Worked his tail off to get his college degree so that he could, be a mentor to all these kids. Again, Coach White was here last week with us. Guys, what do you think about that guy as a mentor?
I mean, once again, another gentleman who's been in the program. Milford is his alma mater. He's been there. He's played there. I think he was a part of the state championship team that Milford played in. So he's taken his lumps and his bumps over the years at Milford, and he's built a program that can be compared to some of the top echelon programs in the state, and he's done a really good job of getting talent in there. He has a great cast of coaches, Coach Trog, with him, and he has some guys that's been with him years, and that's one of the key things to being a successful head coach is the people that you surround yourself with. Sometimes you don't surround yourself with the right people, and then
Right.
Things take a turn for the worse.
Shout out to Big fella, Coach White. He's the epitome of consistency, man. Like he has his way of doing things. It could be as liberal as you want. It could be as a conservative as you want. It could rub people the wrong way, but he has a way of doing things, and he wants things done the right way, his way and the right way. He surrounds himself by smart people. I think on our coaching staff, we got about 4 guys that could easily be head coaches with a snap of a finger, easily.
You talk about that. Bill's doing a great job at Eastern Tech. That would be one great game to watch on
Absolutely.
Friday night. So I'm excited about that.
At Eastern Tech, or we be at.
You would be at Eastern
Oh, they
Tech.
definitely
Oh,
taking
they
the L
come
up
out with
there.
the fans, bro.
Right, exactly.
They
So-
taking the L up.
Black and orange.
They taking the L up in Essex that weekend.
All right. So again, as a reminder, tonight free trivia is add all our weight together, the 3 of us. The person who
I
comes
got
closest.
an 880 on the Facebook Live. I got an 875, and I have an 895.
All right. So right.
Yeah, I feel some type of way.
So again, cast your
I'll tell
vote.
you way about
Everyone gets
that.
close to it, we'll get a free BTC hat and a $25 gift card from the BTC for DePaulis here in Arbutus. All right, moving right along. Let's go to the private sector this week. Boys Latin versus St. Mary's. So who you think would win that game? You know anything about Boys Latin? and
St. Mary's won the B conference, if I'm not mistaken, last year.
No, Pilates wound up winning
They beat St. Mary's in the B conference.
in the B conference championship. Right?
Yeah, I mean that would be a tough game. Coach Rich is a good guy over at BL. St. Mary's.
That'd be a tough. That's like the same team. Like
Coach
the
Jason's
talent
at
level-
St.
Jason,
Mary's.
the
Yeah.
talent level is really matched.
Yeah, you got to remember though, you got great minds there. You got Richie Shell, who's at BL, knows Chip Kelly real well, roomed with Chip Kelly. He's got the Hopkins background a lot. The Loyola, been at BL forever, and then you have Coach Jason, who played at Miami, University of Miami.
Yep.
Brilliant mind. He's turned St. Mary's around to be one of the powerhouses in the state.
Yep.
So who are you gonna go with? Who's gonna win the game?
I'll
It's
go
at-
with
it's
depending
BL
on
at
where
St.
it-
Mary's.
It's where is that?
It's at St. Mary's.
I'm going with St. Mary's. St. Mary's in a close one. I say 20-14.
2014.
I had a chance to go see St. Mary's when they played Newtown in the scrimmage last year, and I was impressed by offensive sets and stuff they were running. It's similar to kind of some of the things we do at Milford. So it's a fun offense. They spread the ball around. So I'm not saying that Boys Latin doesn't do that, but I like St. Mary's in that matchup.
So you got two St. Mary's. I'm going to go with BL. You know, Coach Shell. You know,
You would.
he's got like 26 seniors on this year's team. Real big and physical up front.
You know,
He's
Coach
got-
Shell's going to see you at church on Sunday, so you
yeah,
gotta- you
he's
gotta
got a
make sure.
great. I believe he's got a great quarterback returning. Big up front, runs the ball, has a nice featured tailback. You know, Coach Shell is a great 4-4 scheme guy. Knows defense. Knows how to make adjustments. You know, again, I'm going with Coach Shell on that one. I can't.
4-4, they got one
You
high.
can't
I
go
just
wrong
said
with
they
either.
spread that ball around.
You can't go wrong with either program. They both doing a really good job.
Yeah,
at
come out
the-
that
at the
one.
And
schools.
we'll end it with our second big private school game. We'll have Mount St. Joe versus St. Mary's Riken. Who would you think would win that? Now, remember, again, we talked about Rich Hosler, coach, won the A conference this past year. Great football coach, came from Meade, has college background, has played. He has since left, so Coach Dom D'Amico is there now from ex-coach.
McDonough.
Yep,
McDonough
from
took
McDonough.
over Mount St. Joe.
If you're one of those people that follow those recruiting boards, Rivals, Max Preps, and 24/7, they have rankings of the players, right?
Right.
Don't listen to none of them rankings. Dante Thornton is the best receiver in the country. Plays for Mount St.
What
Joe.
about the quarterback they got? They supposed to
Billy?
be- yeah.
D1
supposed to be-
prospect? You
right.
right. James Madison. Just committed to James
Just
Madison.
committed to James Madison.
And they got
I'm gonna tell you what. I mean, Dante is my guy, but the slot guy. That
Yeah,
plays
that's
for
that-
the-
Crawley.
Yeah, Crawley is
That
a
little trio
dog.
right there?
He is
Bro,
a dog. And
it's
you
real.
know, Deontay being the kid that he is, he'll always tell you that Crawley is probably the better receiver.
Yeah.
But Crawley does the
He's
dirty
at the
work.
dirty work.
He does the dirty work. He's that Anquan Bolden for Mount St. Joe. He's
Absolutely.
gonna catch the curls and the slants across the middle.
Absolutely.
And Deontay is.
Billy's
gonna stretch the
efficient too.
field. Yeah.
He's a slinger. So I'm taking
I'm
the
taking
number one
I'm
receiver
taking
in the
Mount
country
St. Joe
every day.
over Riken. Even though Riken was 9-2 last year, I'm gonna take Mount St. Joe.
Amen.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go with Mount St. Joe as well. Simple fact that I know Coach D'Amico, real organized coach, top notch. Has won everywhere he's gone. He'll have the Gales prepared to play. And then another thing too is we'll hear in Arbutus, which is not far from Mount St. Joe. A lot of kids in this area, tough nosed kids that want to play the game of football, know how to tackle. They're showing up in the weight rooms and lifting. COVID-19's hit right now. They probably haven't been in the weight room, but I guarantee in the basements of Arbutus, Catonsville, in this area, kids are lifting weights and getting stronger. And the tradition, Mount St. Joe is strong again in football. I could see them. They could take on the big boys. And they've always have. Like to see them maybe play St. Francis. See how that would shake down this year.
Yeah, St. Francis
So-
by 50.
St. Francis by 50 against Mount St. Joe. Well, we'll have to eventually see that. So, again, that's covering our high school football for the thing. All right. Also, one of our segments is we're going to cover local areas. So, Coach Trogdon, again, you're going to cover who?
I got Baltimore County.
Baltimore County. So,
Bias,
talk about
man.
a little bit about
Bias.
Baltimore County again.
So we're gonna go through this, pretty quick.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we go? You're covering Baltimore County. He's covering Harford County. Let's go
And
one
Cecil
Baltimore
County.
County, or Harford County and Cecil. Let's go
All right.
one Baltimore County team, then we'll go Harford and Cecil, and we'll alternate back and forth.
All right, so I broke mine down into Baltimore County. We have two categories. We have 3A, 4A, and then 2A, 1A. In the 3A, 4A, one of the top teams I have is Franklin, coached by Coach
Franklin.
Burgos.
Yep.
Another machine out of Baltimore, man. Like,
He has to replace. Coach D'Amico was the defensive coordinator, so he's
Absolutely.
got to replace a good D coordinator. So we'll have to see how that shakes out.
yeah, I hope because we playing. I hope.
Yeah, man.
Well,
Burgos does a special job
good luck,
over there.
good luck in that search, bro.
Hey, Coach Burgos has got Coach Mark Agent over there too from
Yeah.
Gilman. Coach does the offensive line. One of the best offensive line coaches I've seen
Real
in high school
animated
football.
guy.
Yep,
Yes, sir.
awesome football coach.
Yeah, they have two big time recruits over there. Their old lineman at center. Their safety has a lot of talent. And both of those guys got they're well hard to recruited right now.
Are they coming off of a playoff appearance last year?
Yeah, they played. I can't remember who they played in the playoffs last year.
The
They
Masters.
played
lost to
Damascus.
Damascus.
They got a piece of that.
That was a
The
crowd to
Damascus,
play up there.
yeah,
I mean, Franklin, they was in it at the beginning, and Damascus kind of, showed that muscle, flexed that muscle at the end, gave the ball to Brian Breezy late in the game,
It's different.
and
bro.
he just dragged about 3 or 4 of them in the end zone. But it was a really good game, and like you said, Coach Burgos does an amazing job with that
Absolutely.
program.
He definitely set the standard in Baltimore County.
Awesome. Always there,
Gotta come to
Franklin.
play.
All right, who we got in Hartford County or
Hartford
Cecil?
County, I go with the private sector first. You got Coach Ken Brinkman up there at John Curl, who's doing an amazing job up there with the program. He has a University of Maryland commit, Roman Hemby. He lost a few guys, Ben Blessing. He lost his son, Austin, who's at West Virginia, long snapping for West Virginia. He's lost some guys the last couple of years, but for the most part, man, they're going to be an exciting football program in the B Conference, and probably in the top 3, if not number 1. So he's doing a good job up there.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. Again, shout out to his son, who is a long snapper at University of West Virginia. Great football player, tight end last year. Kid knows the game of football, and Brink does a great job. All right, Baltimore County, where are we at now?
Also in the 3A4, I have Dundalk.
Dundalk.
Coach Banter.
Coach Banna.
Also have 2 D1 recruits over there. I think they're twins.
Twins?
Alice brothers, Greg and Brandon.
Okay.
Where they come from?
Pretty good. They've been there, bro.
What team they was on?
They've been there, bro. They
Home-
Coach
good.
Abel, report to my Facebook Live. I need to find out where they came
They
from,
good,
man.
Homegrown
They good,
Dundalk
man.
kids.
Dundalk.
Right.
I literally watched that team rise up within like the half a decade. Like when Coach shout out to Coach Sando, who's at Perryville. He actually turned that program around, did a 180, started making playoff appearances, got those kids out of the hallway, and Coach Banner just taking it and run with it.
Coach Banna's doing a great job over there. All right, moving right
To
along.
piggyback off my man, I gotta give a big shout out. Coach Banner just checked into our Facebook
Coach
Live. He jumped in here and said homegrown.
Turner Station,
my bad,
baby.
Coach, they came from Turner Station. I ain't see him last year. My bad.
Hey, man.
Coach. Speaking of Coach Sandor, he's up at Perryville.
Yep.
Took the program. They went to the playoffs this year. They lost to Dunbar in the playoffs.
The machine.
But he got a couple of guys there. He's been doing a good job. He has a kid, Mario Hampton, who's he's an athlete for the team. He does everything. He can play quarterback, wide receiver, running back. So he's doing a really good job with their program. And look to see them making some consistent noise in the 1A.
Yep. Coach does a great job. Coach was down at the Crab Bowl this year. I saw him down there, and he's always involved. He's always over Facebook promoting his teams. He's a player's coach. He does the right stuff. All right, who we have in Baltimore County? Again?
Going into 1A, 2A, I have Newtown, coached by
Newtown.
Coach Savage. They also have two UMass commits, if I'm not mistaken, a DN and a corner who I think happens to be in a junior class.
Okay.
So they doing pretty good. Two Final Four appearances. Both. I mean, the defense is great, coached by Coach G. The offense, they run an air raid. They spread things around. They had a transfer quarterback last year, so I think they got a young boy now that's going to turn a corner and keep them consistent. I think they playoff bound again.
Playoff bound Newtown. You got anything to say about Newtown?
Coach Savage doing a really good job. Prayers to Coach Savage, who's dealing with his life situation. But he's done an amazing job the last couple of years with that program.
The numbers are insane.
Yeah.
At Newtown, kids, JV
Bro,
and
they-
varsity?
quick story.
Okay.
So that was our week 1 last year, right? It's going to be our week 1 this year. So, of course, the JV played first. So our JV is pretty consistent. We're going to come out with about,
Talking about Milford Mill.
about 30, 35 kids, solid. Like, we look solid, right? But we look like a JV because we pull a lot of the 10th graders up. So we got a lot of freshmen out there. Newtown shows up off that bus, bro. It looked like the varsity. And they've uniformed more than 40 people on JV. I don't know what's going on over there, but they pulling those young boys out there to play, and it was impressive. I had to go over to their head coach, Coach Sonny Savage, and be like, "Yeah, bro, you doing something over here?" Because it didn't look like your typical JV game. But of course, the game was won at the last second, just like a typical Newtown Milford game. But it was impressive what I saw. The growth is insane.
Awesome. All right, moving right along. Harford County, Cecil, what do we have here?
We got Coach Feeney up there in Elkton, who's done a tremendous job with that program. He has 2 stud linebackers that was first team Cecil County last year, Frank Turner and Kyrie Stevens. So he's doing an amazing job. He has some guys. He just had one of his receivers who went to Maine last year and playing.
Yep.
He lost his quarterback, so I'm quite sure he'll find somebody to replace him. And Coach Rossi is offensive coordinator, a good friend of mine. He knows the game of football, and they're doing an amazing job up in that area.
You know what? I tell you, I watched at the Crab Bowl. You know, the quarterback is phenomenal. They had a slot guy that was phenomenal. Matter of fact, I turned to a couple coaches, Sandora. I turned to him and said, "Who are these guys?" And they were like, "These kids from Elkton." I'm like,
they show up with them yellow helmets with that
right.
purple E on the side of it.
Unbelievable.
They ready to go to work. They come to work with their hard hats and their lunch pails. That's the kind of kids they got up there.
Let's go one more Baltimore County and one more Hartford, and then we'll get to our X and O's.
Of course, I'm biased, and I'm gonna throw Milford in there, the top 4. Of course, we got 2 D1 recruits also.
Who are they?
It's Rashawn Holmes and Jalen Wallace. They're getting recruited throughout the country.
Positions, what do they play?
Quarterback, Rashawn plays quarterback, Jalen plays corner. But just to throw a wrench into all of that, when I dug deep on who I was going to pick on here, the consistency was all 4 of those programs have at least 2 D1 commits or
Awesome.
D1 recruits, right? So the question I want to ask to the panel is it any pressure on the coaches that have these D1 players? Is it like state or bust because you have these great players? Are you like coming into the season like, oh my God, I gotta play, I gotta come out with this ship, or do we look crazy?
Well, what's the dude with the unibrow that played for the Lakers? Anthony Davis, that's his name. AD. On his high school team, his senior year, they was like 0-21, and he went to what? Kentucky somewhere?
No, I'm talking about on the coaches. Is it pressure on the coaches?
I'm saying his coaches wasn't no pressure on him. They was sorry as I don't know what. He had a D1 basketball commit who's in the NBA right now. So It ain't the coach. You know, at the end of the day, we can't play the game for these kids. You know, they got to go out there. If you feel as a coaching staff that you prepare your guys the entire week to play in that game on Friday, they got to go out there and perform and execute. Now, will we as coaches make some mistakes or call a good play here and there? Yeah, we are, but you know, everything is hit or miss with these X's and O's stuff. To me, and the kids ultimately got to go out there and play football.
I think sometimes the coaches we fall into that pressure of wanting to showcase kids and try to hide people's weaknesses and show their strengths. But I think once you get the scheme together and now the game starts, I think all that goes. But I think you do succumb to some of that pressure of wanting to just showcase your kids and put a good product out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's finish up with one more Hartford County or Cecil.
I had to go with Coach Rollins up in Edgewood, who, he's coming into taking over a 5-and-5 program that has tons of talent. But like he said, he has to create that culture and discipline there with the academic stuff to get those kids on the field. But I tell you what, once he gets those kids on the field, man, they're going to throw the ball all over Hartford County. And I'm excited to come up there and watch him play some games.
Coach Rawlings talked about Kurt Rawlings, his son, who was going to be probably in the Hall of Fame at Yale. Awesome quarterback. Probably played the best Harvard. Harvard and Yale played the game, probably the best game ever. He's going to be his OC for him for a while. So
sweet.
Yeah, so he's going to help him call the plays. He'll be excited about that. So
cool.
Again, we're excited for Coach Rawlings. Look for their team to boost in there and make a run at the state playoffs. All right, so we're going to take just a 30-second break, and we're going to set up, and Trog's going to give us some X and O's tonight of segment. It's going to end the evening, and then we'll close it out for tonight.
And for all y'all O-line coaches, just throwing the ball.
So we wanted to do, since this is a football podcast, we wanted to stay consistent and do some football stuff. So at the end of each show, we wanted to do a play of the day, do a little X's and O clinic. So today, what I wanted to do is shallow cross, right? So when we do get out there, it looked like we're gonna play some football in the spring, and of course the practice is gonna be limited. There's gonna be like no big time training, and I wanted to throw a play out there that's an easy install. It's fun for the kids. It gets everybody involved. It looks complicated, but it's really one of the easiest concepts to install. But before I get started on that, for any coaches out there that want to talk about something specific or a specific play that they want highlighted on here, let us know in the comments, through text, through the platforms or whatever. And if you want to come on and you want to be part of the little X's and O clinic, just let us know. All right, so shallow cross. Let Coach Hargis know if you guys can see this. Am I good, Coach? All right. So let's just start off in a 2x2 set, right? And let's just put up against let's go against a regular full front.
Are you gonna naturally invert the Y in that cross, or can he play off the ball?
But like I'm just setting up how we set it up at Milford. So you can have two slides. This is, just for chalk talk. Let's just start with let's start with one high. All right, so a typical 4-3 set with 4 linebackers across. Now, again, so we're going to go shallow cross. So let's just say we sending out shallow to the left side, right? So it'll be shallow cross left. Or, for the average people out here, I think they call it 92, right? So we're sending out shallow cross to the left. Now, for your quarterback, what makes this an easy install is that everything stays consistent no matter what defense give you. So since we don't have time to teach coverages, we don't have time to identify disguises of coverages, we just keep things consistent. So pre-snap, the quarterback has a peek on go routes right now. If this guy's playing press, he can take this if he wants. If this guy's playing within 4 yards, he can take this if he wants. That's a pre-snap read. Once the pre-snap read is over, you can forget about these guys. Unless we tag, and we can talk about tags later. But the consistency of it is we're going shallow cross left, right? Once we go post snap, all the quarterback has to do is keep his eye on that outside linebacker. We're not worrying about this guy. We're not worrying about that guy. We're not worrying about nobody else. We're keeping our eyes on that outside linebacker. The outside linebacker that's closest to your H right here, or your slot to your left side. All right. The reason we want to do that is because that's where the quarterback's eyes is, right? So we got a shallow cross coming left. We got our slot outside, mandatory outside release, going up the seam for the dig route. Now, if you got a speedy guy, you can take your dig route 12 to 15. If you got more of a possession guy, you can go 10 to 12, but it don't matter. This has to be an outside release. The reason you want this to be an outside release is you want this guy to turn his back to the quarterback if it's man and run with him. Even if he's called himself doing a zone turn, we want him to pay attention to this outside release. This guy right here will never lie to you. He's going to dictate the coverage every single time. So if you got one high, 9 chances out of 10 is going to be, in high school, it's going to be 1 or 3. And this guy right here will never lie to you when you got one high coverage. So that's who your quarterback is looking at. If this guy turns and runs with him, he should be able to beat this guy. That's why he's in there. He should be able to beat this guy. And you take your 3-step drop, and you should be getting the ball somewhere around right there. That's the easy play. what makes this play so significant is as long as your quarterback don't cheat his eyes, if this guy does any type of fake where he's staying in the flat, meaning they're in cover 3, 1 high in the flat, if he stays there, right, obviously he's going to interrupt that. Well, in cover 3, we know we got hook the curl players, and that just opens it up for the dig right there. Easy concept, right? We're not even really going to get into the O-line, but at Milford, we just do basically a scat protection where these 3 responsible for them 3. We do a half a slide right there. And a couple things you could do. You could send a running back through here to do a blitz protect. You can send them through to go opposite, or you could just shoot them on the shoot route right there. But the quarterback is responsible for this guy, right? So if this guy shows blitz, he got to give direction to the running back, or you can just shape it into the play. The good thing about this play is because we got pre-snap reads, and you can tag any of those, right? If you got a dig coming this way, you can post it, so that'll be shallow cross, Z post. If you up in the booth and if you run a no huddle offense, this guy playing low 10 yards, you can run shallow cross, X hitch. You can, if they one of those teams that like to show the will playing up, you can go shallow cross left, Z slant, and then whatever you do on the right side, you can do on the left side. But all of this stays the same. Right? All of this stays the same, right? So you guys got any questions about it? We can go more deeper into the concept. Just hit me up on one of the platforms, and I'll be happy to talk some ball with you guys. Other than that, what you guys think? Shallow cross.
Good job, Coach.
My man.
Good job. All right, closing up the night. Elwood, what numbers we have for this trivia here?
We got Coach Bill with Eastern Tech, 775. Coach Falcon, 875. And then we had a Coach Corey Young, 880. Jeez.
All right, so the answer is 840 is the answer. The key is 840. So you can do the math, figure it out. I'm the lightest.
Chill,
He's the second.
chill, bro.
He's third. But 840 is the winning
chill.
number. So we'll figure out who that winner is, and we'll reach out to him. Again, closing tonight, we want to thank everybody for our second night of podcast. Next week, we have a special guest. Coach Trogdon's out of town. So we will have Coach Steve Rapp,
The
R-A-P-P.
legend. The
Coach
legend.
Steve Rapp. He's the offense coordinator at Wise High School.
Wise High School.
Wise High School.
The Wise, home of the Pumas.
State champions. A lot of kids from our Big 33 team.
I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Rapp coming here with his varsity jacket on with all those patches on.
So again, we'll have Coach Rapp next week. Hopefully, we'll text him. He'll come up with some information about how the teams are going to look down south, and we'll have a good thing. Coach Trogdon, have a great trip and be safe.
Appreciate
and
it.
anything else in closing?
And if you want us to highlight your program or talk about your program, just shoot us a message, and when we discuss our high school segments and everything, we can bring you guys up in topics. So
yeah, in closing again, remember we'll be sending information out September 26th, not this Saturday, but the following Saturday. Rally to play at Annapolis with Governor Ehrlich and all the high school football coaches and kids. We'll get them down there. Also, again, we want to thank our sponsors again. Under Armour, keep buying their product. Great group. The Arena Club up in Harford County. Like I said, Coach Rawlings, it's his place. Great fitness center. And our number one realtor is Coach Hausler at Exit Premier Realtor. Hook up with him and purchase your house or sell your house with him. Again, signing off tonight.
And as we end every segment, I'm going to say shout out to the competition.
TRT Podcast.